My name is Sanvi MG, and I am in grade 9A, and I study in Birla Open Minds International School, Hyderabad. Draganosis. Prologue. If her life could be worse, it came true. Aurora, a girl from Connecticut of age 16 years old, faces something challenging in her life. She reveals a considerable part of her she didn't know. Aurora has blonde hair and pale skin. Her eye color was hard to tell. It was like all the colors were lined up making a circle. When Aurora realizes what she is, she couldn't believe it. No one would. If my day was worse before, it wasn't better now. Mom, how much longer? I asked. It will take around 10 minutes, my mom replied from the back of the car while Dad was fixing the punctured wheel. It was around 9 p.m. We were stuck on a highway as the back wheel of our car got punctured and deflated completely. I was very sleepy. My eyes wandered outside the window, and I looked ahead to see a dark figure approaching. I squinted my eyes to focus who that was, but it was very hard since that person had camouflaged with his black hood, shoes, and pants like darkness consuming him. As he came closer, the street light started to flicker until it was completely dark. Even the grasshoppers that were chirping earlier seemed to have sensed danger. I looked back at my mom's confused face, sensing her emotions. I can say she was very confused about why the lights went out. She didn't see the mysterious person. Damn it, my dad yelled, frustrated about the lights and the tire. These lights didn't find any other time to go out, did they? Calm down, my mom said soothingly. We can use this torch. She switched on the torch and held it down so my dad could fix the tire. I shifted my attention to the person who was close to our car now. I could see him quite clearly. No surprise. I had extremely great eyesight, and I most certainly don't eat carrots very much. I could see he had a strange design on a crescent moon on his jacket. I pressed my face against a window to get a better view. I'm sure I looked like a seal from outside, but I didn't care. I was too busy looking at the man, and something in his hood was glowing. He walked up and stood behind my parents. I looked back to see what was happening and who the strange person was. My mother held the torchlight next to them in an attempt to look at his face. Soon she realized she couldn't. With the hood drawn, she put the torchlight back down. Yes, can we help you? My dad asked. The person just shook his head and lowered the hood. The person seemed like a boy of about 20 years old. He had blonde hair like me and intense gold eyes. His skin was pale too. Something about him felt familiar to me. He looked very familiar, like I had seen him somewhere. He looked at my parents straight in the eye, and one by one they fell to the floor. I gasped. The boy didn't bother to put his hood back on. He just turned around and held his face up to the sky and started showing some sign languages. It looked like he was having a personal hand conversation with the moon. When I realized that my parents didn't get up yet, I got off the car and ran up to them. I bent down to my mom, and when I saw that her eyeballs had turned red from the blood, I screamed out loud. I saw the same happen to my father. The boy turned around and saw me. He didn't seem surprised. I got up and started to hit him on the chest. It didn't seem to have any effect on him. My eyes were blinded with rage, my blood pounding in my ears. I looked up at his eyes and felt a stinging pain in my eyes, and before I knew it, I blacked out. Yes, but we have to use her. Now please shut up. My eyes opened to a distant voice. I groaned. My head was throbbing too much. I sat up and tried to look around, but my vision was a complete blur. I blinked a few times to bring them back to focus. I looked around me. It seemed like I was in a basement, but it was filled with lights and strange designs around the walls. I strained my ears and heard voices speaking nearby. Other than that, it was hushed. Then it all flashed back to me. What happened to my parents and the boy with glowing eyes? I immediately stood up, and my eyes opened wide when I saw a silver glow radiating off me. My hair was shining, and the blonde color seemed to stand out. My skin was sparkling slightly. Whoa, what happened to me? You will find out soon enough, said an unknown voice. I turned around and saw a guard wearing all white with a sword in his hand. Who are you? Why have you brought me here? What have you done to me? I stuttered. Follow me, said the guard, ignoring my questions. He pulled me up the stairs and dragged me through a hallway to a huge room. I gasped. The room was huge. It had pure white walls that seemed to glow slightly with gold designs on it. In the middle of the room, there was a huge chair, similar to a throne. It was a bony black. Sitting on top of it was the boy who murdered my parents. He seemed to be wearing a black robe without a hood, and his eyes were glowing slightly. You! I ran towards him, but his guard caught me before I reached him. Yes, me, he said gleefully. I glared at him. Why have you brought me here? Why am I glowing like this? Why did you kill my parents? I attacked him with questions. Calm down, dear. I will explain everything. Come, sit here with me first. He gestured toward a seat next to him. I went there slowly and sat down, narrowing my eyes at him. Okay, so first let me introduce you to myself. I am Lucas, a supernatural human. I was gifted with the ability of sight. I can kill people with my sight. This place is known as the parallel universe. I stared at him. So you mean we aren't on Earth? No, we're not on Earth. Now let me fill you up about yourself. You, Aurora, are not a human. What? What are you blabbering? Of course I am. And so are you. Actually, wait. I don't think you are. You're just a beast. Lucas chuckled. Now, Aurora, let me finish. So, as I was saying, you aren't a human. You, my dear, are a mythical. I'm a what? Lucas chuckled again. A mythical. Mythical were legendary species. They were the most powerful beings on Earth. They had various powers, like extraordinary eyesight. You didn't just get those by eating carrots. You have the power to sense people's emotion, divine powers, and the control over dragons called Draganosis. Tragically, the humans find out about mythicals, resulting in war, and due to that, all the mythicals died. They were extinct from the time dinosaurs were extinct until now. You're the first mythical born around 1,000,000 centuries. I was so shocked I didn't even react. It was a lot to take in. It explained my eyesight and my senses over people's emotion. But then, you said I have Draganosis. But I never tried it, I told him, still shocked. Well, my dear, he said, amused. Now, the dragons are still extinct, so you can't test out your powers, can you? And you might be curious about your sparkly skin and your silver glow. Yes, this is your true appearance. Mythicals have sparkling skins and auras. Now let us get to point. What do you mean? I asked. Well, you see, your parents who died down there aren't your real parents. They were brainwashed into thinking you were their child. Your father is someone else, and your father is being weakened every day because his daughter Mythical is alive. He cannot be brought back to power to rule the parallel universe. So for that, you must die. You also have a brother who is helping your father to be brought to power. They were going to find you. That's why I brought you here. Who is my father and brother? Don't I have a mother? I asked, still finding everything hard to believe. Your father is Shadow Knight. Your birth mother died years ago as she met with an accident when she visited Earth. Now, we have to hide you somewhere your dad can't find you. Do you trust me? It was a foolish question to ask. Of course I did not trust him. He killed my so-called parents, but whatever he's telling me made sense to me. It felt very familiar in this place. He might be telling the truth. I clutched my head, thinking what to believe. The thought of my father and brother searching for me to kill me made my heart break. I didn't know who they were. I don't remember them for sure, but I decided to trust Lucas. After all, he was the only one I knew here. If not, well, I knew him better than the other people here. Besides, if he's helping me hide, wasn't it a good thing? I didn't know. I trusted everyone too easily. And I didn't even know Lucas. It was a hard choice. But I quickly made up my mind. Fine, I told him. I trust you. He grinned triumphantly. Great job. Now follow me, Aurora. He got up his huge chair and led me to another hallway, telling the guards to stay put. He walked in silence for 5 minutes. When he opened the door and led me inside, I stepped in and looked around. It was a pretty big room with all kinds of weapons I didn't recognize. But don't ask how I still knew there were weapons. Ahead, I saw a small chair with a rope next to it. I started getting nervous. Lucas, why have you brought me here? I asked him nervously. Well, let's say this is the best place you can be, and I need my reward, don't I? Now I was panicking. What reward? I asked him, shaking violently. Lucas stepped back to the door and stood next to the doorframe and smirked. That's when it hit me. When I thought he looked strangely familiar, now I know why. He looked a bit like me. Father would be proud of me. Goodbye, sister. And he locked the door. Thank you.